Okay, so we are currently dealing with a Samsung dryer that isn't heating and has a bad heating element. I'm going to open it up. We're going to diagnose it. I'm going to show you how to replace it and get you back up and running. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is open up the door. Go ahead and take your lint filter out. And then you've got 3 screws that you want to take out. One here, here, and here. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is take a flathead screwdriver, and there are clips that hold this top panel in place. There's one that sits right about here and one about over here. So if you take that flathead screwdriver, or you can take like a putty knife, kind of pop it in there, pry it up, you'll loosen that side, and then you can come to the other side and just pop it up. Now with this specific type of Samsung dryer, when you lift the lid, okay, you want to make sure that you have something behind it. Like I have the wall right here to hold the top up. If you don't and you try to just let it go backwards, it's going to fall completely out. Okay, now you're going to want to take your wire that runs from the control board to the door switch down here and unhook it from these 2 little plastic hooks right here. And that's going to give it a little bit of slack. Now this one doesn't have it, but some models are going to have a secondary wire that runs up here that connects to a little plug. Okay, if yours has that, you want to go ahead and just unplug that. Now we want to remove the 3 screws in the top here, this one, and this one, that hold the front panel in place. Now once you've done that, you can pull the panel off. Now there are these little metal tabs right here that you're going to have to press down to get the panel to come off. And then you can just lift it up. Now there is the wire that runs to the door switch right here. Let me give you a better view. So the door switch is right here, and if you want, you can disconnect it and remove the panel completely. I don't. I just leave it, and then I tuck off to the side just like this. Next, we have 4 screws that hold this this front panel in place. Okay, there's going to be one here, one here, one here, and one here. You want to remove those 4. Now we want to remove this metal container. This houses the lint filter, and to do that, there's going to be 3 screws that we're going to take off. One here, here, and here. And then you can just pull down on this and pull it off. And you want to make sure that you, since you have it off, go ahead and clean that out. Next, we're going to disconnect this wire. This wire runs to the moisture sensor bars that sit inside this panel. So just unclip it. And now we can pull this panel off. And to do that, we're just going to lift up on it and then pull it out towards you. Set off to the side. Next, we're going to remove the drum. And to do that, we need to take the belt off of the pulley. So I'm going to put the camera on the back side so that you can see what I'm doing with my hands as I reach in under here to undo the belt. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reach in with both hands here. And what I'm looking for is I'm going to grab the pulley right here with my left hand, and I'm just going to pull it backwards. I'll hold it in place with my right hand and try to slip the belt off of it like that. And now we can go ahead and just slip the drum out. I usually would just pull up on the belt and use that to help guide it out. Now that we've got our machine opened up, we are going to check for continuity on the heating element. Now, these are your heating element. These are the coils for your heating element. This is the cycling thermostat, and this is the high limit thermostat. We're going to test these. If you've got yourself a multimeter, go ahead and turn it on, and you should have something like this where it looks like a little speaker sound wave down here, and just turn it to that. That will allow us to test for continuity. Now we're going to take the 2 prongs of our multimeter, touch them together to make sure that it is making noise like it's supposed to. like that. And then you want to touch one on the top and one on the bottom. If your multimeter makes the noise, that tells you that you have continuity and that your heating element is good. If there's no noise, that means that the heating element is broken and you've lost continuity, and then we'll have to go ahead and replace the heating element. So let's touch them together. No noise means no continuity, which means a broken heating element. So we're gonna have to pull this out and replace it. Let's just go ahead and remove all 6 wires. And then there's a screw that holds this in place right here that you want to take out. You can fold this down if you want, like that. Now, this one doesn't have any, but sometimes there'll be 1 or 2 screws here. If so, you want to take those out. Okay, now you can just grab your heating element, the whole canister, and just pull it out. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you as good of a close-up as I can for this whole process. Okay, so there are 2 options. You can go on Amazon and you can buy this entire canister, right? It's going to be about 40 or 50 bucks. It's a lot easier than the alternative. It's just simply take this canister out, put your new one in, hook up your wires, and bam, you're good to go. But you can also go and buy just the wiring and replace that, and it usually runs about $15 to $20. It does involve a few more steps, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that in case you do want to go that route. I will link both the entire canister as well as just the coil. So either route you decide to go, you have that option in my description. Okay, so first thing you want to look at is on most machines, you're going to see that this little tab right here is folded down and the second one isn't. Sometimes they'll both be up. If either one of them is up, like this one, take your needle nose pliers and fold it down. And that's just going to help stop the top of the canister from separating from the bottom once we take all the screws out to replace the coil. Okay, so there's going to be 6 screws on this side that we're going to take out. You're going to have one here, 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 and here. And then if we flip this up a little bit, I'm going to take out the top screw for this thermostat here and the top screw for this cycling thermostat. Now we're going to flip it around. And on this side, we've got 3 screws that we're going to take out. One here, here, and here. All right, now that we've got all the screws out, it's time to take these, it's time to take the actual coil out. And we're going to pull it from this side, this way. And these have to pass through this plastic piece right here. And I don't know if you can really tell, but there are little tabs right here, and then there's some on the other side as well. And they're turned down to stop this from coming through on its own. So just double check them. And it looks like on this one, the ones on the opposite side haven't been turned down. They're straight. So we just need to turn this one and this one straight on this side. Should be able to yank them through like that and like that. Now you don't want to remove this top part completely. Remember, that's why we folded down these 2 little tabs up here. You just want to lift it up, and you can reach in and bring your heating element out. And this is our heating element, and we're just going to kind of wiggle it and see if we can see where it's broken. And so it's a little hard to see, but see, that's broken right there. Okay, So when that happens, it loses continuity. There's no electrical current running through, and so you no longer get heat to your machine. So we're going to toss that one. Now we've got our replacement one. Okay. Go ahead and just kind of pull your wires out a little bit. They'll be wrapped upwards. So this is how this goes back in here. Make yours look just like this. Okay. And then we're going to slip it back into here. And when we do, we're trying to line up the holes on here with the holes here and on this side. And I usually start with this side. So see, now we've got it in there. It's just a matter of lining up the holes. Just like that right there. And you can, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see directly through here. And then we'll start with that one and screw it in. And then we'll do the same thing here. Now you might have to just kind of readjust on each one of these until you get the holes lined up. Now for this side, because the element that we put in is being pulled that way, because these are screwed in over here, I usually press in on this top part here and first line up the hole from this top part of the casing with the hole in the heating element. Get that in, and then pull it towards me and get that screw to go in the hole on the bottom part. And then same thing with your last one, just line it up and set it in there. And then you still have one screw over here that you want to put in. Come back to this side. And then put these in. And then the screws that hold your thermostats back in place. Now you want to feed your wires back through here. So usually I'll put the one that is on coming from the bottom down here through the bottom one, and the one on the top going through the top. Get them all the way through. And then you want to take those little tabs on the end here and just either go up or down with them. And that helps lock this in place so that it can't slip through. Okay, so this last part is super important. Before you put it back on, pick it up and you want to look inside of it. And you want to make sure that your two wires right here aren't touching anything. And I know you can't really see, maybe not, but this coil is actually touching the rest of this right here. If this is touching, if it's touching the other part of the coil, or if it's touching the housing up here, or if this is touching the metal housing down here, it's going to spark when you turn it on and it's going to blow your heating element and you'll have to start all over. So just make sure you can just adjust the wires as best you can to make sure that nothing is touching anything. And see, I moved it. See, I moved them around and now they're good. Fold this back up. This tab, make sure it's straight. Go ahead and put your heating element in. Just want to make sure that that metal tab goes in that hole, and then you can screw this back in. And then we'll reconnect our wires. The two in the front are going to be bigger than the ones in the back. So these two should be the only ones that fit the actual heating coils, okay? And it doesn't matter if you put red on top or red on bottom or blue on top, blue on bottom. Reconnect those. And then this is a jumper wire. So this blue wire is going to go from the heating element to the cycling thermostat. And then your black wire, one of the ends is going to go to the cycling thermostat. And then these last two back here are going to connect to the high limit fuse. And now we can put our machine back together. So now we want to put our drum back in. We're going to slip our belt over the drum, put it on about halfway. And for your belt, there's a smooth side and there's a ridged side. The side with the ridges needs to go facing the drum, and the smooth side should be facing you. You just pick it up and we're going to set it in there. Okay, so now we want to put the belt back around the pulley and the motor. So I'll reach in and show you here. Grab the belt. Make sure that the belt on this side is over the pulley. And then over here, you're going to wrap it around the motor. And then pull it to your right. And then lift up on the pulley. Make it go to the left. And then just slip the belt over the pulley. Now we want to put our front panel back on, and the front panel has these little hooks. Okay, two on that side and then two on this side. And those hooks are going to go into these little holes right here on the machine. And you want to start with the top. Just get the first two in. And then once you've got the top two in, you want to spin your drum clockwise until you hear it kind of pop. That'll be the drum resting on the rollers correctly in the front. And now it should be easy to get these bottom ones in. Go ahead and put your clip back together for your moisture sensor. And we want to put the canister on. Slips back up like that, and then screw it in. As well as the 4 screws that hold this front panel in place. Next, we're going to put the main front panel back on. There's these little metal slits down here, okay? And there's holes in the bottom of the front panel, and you just want to line the holes up with the slits. Once you've got it on, just push it forward until it all pops in place. And then you want to put these screws back in. Before we close it up, you want to make sure that you resecure the wire back into this little holder right here. And if you've got your lid too far back, it's going to have a lot of tension. So if you start to let your lid down, it'll loosen up on the wire. You can set them in place and then tie that up. And then you're going to grab the lid by the corners and just press down on it until you hear it pop on. Like that. Go ahead and put your lint filter back in. And then put these 3 screws back in. And that's it. You're good to go. We'll catch you next time.